I live unbanked off of cryptocurrency, and I use Bitrefill extensively because it lets me pay with crypto at places that don't yet accept it directly. This one service, more than any other, helps me live on crypto, pay your prepaid phone bill, or buy gift cards to thousands of major retailers around the world, all with cryptocurrency, including for exact amounts so you don't have to buy more gift credit than you need for a specific purchase. You can use Bitrefill without an account, but if you get an account, you can earn rewards points, which translate to savings, and you can also hold a balance denominated in dollars or euros to protect yourself against market crashes. Go to bitrefill.com, click Create Account, and enter the referral code DCN, or follow the link in the description. Hey everyone, happy Friday. Welcome to another news roundup. And this is probably going to be the last one that isn't live. Currently, there's still just a lot of people around the house that are doing construction and things like that. So it's not exactly conducive to live things. The internet seems to be relatively stable, so hopefully we get back to a more live thing next time, and then we start bringing back guests, and then everything is back, to normal and better. So yeah, let me start jumping right into these things. This is an interesting one. Bitcoin bear market over as metric hints that BTC exchange balances hit 4-year low. So basically, there's some evidence that maybe the Bitcoin bear market might be over because obviously exchange balances have hit a 4-year low, which usually means, people have already taken all off. They're not really buying, they're kind of withdrawing. There's a ton of trading going on. Now, I don't know about that for just a single sole metric, because we did have like the top of the bull market. We did have the top of the bull market hit around, last December, was it? And so this is like not even like 9 months later, just a few months later. It's like, it's already over. It's going to go back up. I mean, we might have hit the bottom of the market. We might not have. I don't know. I don't really care. But I don't think that this is like, it's all up from here. I think that we're going to have we might go a little bit lower this year. This is just again, I'm not a financial advisor, obviously. You should never take anything I say as that. And I'm not really too much of a market analyst either. So just my gut feeling based on being through, bull and bear cycles in the crypto markets for the last 9 years straight is probably going to be, it might go lower, it might not, but it's probably going to be another couple years before we start to see things like go up again. So it is a good kind of indicator that things are sort of settling down a little bit, that it's not quite so much, just constant bloodbath over and over and over. But, I would be prepared for a little more down maybe, and definitely sideways action for at least a year, just based on previous evidence, the way things have gone before. Although the way the world is going crazy these days, nothing really surprises me anymore. I mean, it could be that fiat starts to collapse in the next year and then crypto goes through the roof or something, or it could be, who knows. But anyway, that's just that. Let's talk about the Ethereum split. So obviously, as you might have heard, the Ethereum's moving to the merge in probably sometime in the next couple months, and basically going full proof of stake, which has been the plan for a long time. And of course, what that does is it cuts out miners. All the Ethereum infrastructure currently is proof of work miners. And if they just aren't needed anymore, there's a bunch of people who've invested a ton of capital into running the network and making a business off of this, who just now, it's useless. So where will they go? Well, let's look at this. So Ethereum chain split is possible after the merge, survey finds. And so Ethereum Classic has been pumping recently because it's, a fork of Ethereum that will not be merging to proof of stake, etc. And so maybe all the miners are just going to jump over there and mine the one coin that they can continue to mine profitably, hopefully, without, just trashing their equipment and being gone. But anyway, a survey from crypto hedge fund Galoy Capital recently revealed that 33.1% of respondents believe that the merge would create two parallel blockchains, ETH1 and ETH2. Nevertheless, most respondents, 53% 3.7% expect Ethereum's chain to smoothly transition from proof of work to proof of stake. So it's going to be interesting, though. I mean, in my opinion, most of the Ethereum community, most of the will, and most of the development talent, etc., is all going towards like the proof of stake side of things. I don't think that there's a lot of like intellectual backing behind proof of work for Ethereum. Of course, there is a strong pro proof of work community. I personally think that it still has a place in crypto's world. Of course, Bitcoiners are big into that, and Bitcoin's never going to not be proof of work, at least as long as it's still Bitcoin. I mean, I really don't see that changing ever. It would be more likely that another project takes over the number one spot and then this Bitcoin just kind of fades away rather than that change. But as far as how much is there on Ethereum willing to do that, I mean, Ethereum Classic kind of was like a, ooh, look at us too thing after the DAO hack in 2015. And it, as far as I know, never really picked up any steam. Is just basically like a ghost chain now, but keeps pumping and stuff. And I really can't see a lot of permanent action on that. And I also can't really see regular Ethereum just being proof of work Ethereum and then just like doing that instead. And yeah, I just think it's gonna, there might be a split, okay, but I don't think it's gonna persist. I don't think it's gonna be much of an anything. It might just be a quick pump and dump type deal. That's just my opinion. All right, here we go. Voyager. Fed demands Voyager remove false claims that deposits are FDIC insured. The Fed and the FDIC allege that Voyager made various representations online that its funds were FDIC insured. So basically, the Fed and FDIC allege that Voyager made various representations online, including its website, mobile app, and social media accounts, which suggested it was, 1, Voyager itself is FDIC insured, and 2, customers who invested with Voyager would receive FDIC insurance coverage for all funds provided to, held by, on, or with Voyager, and 3, the FDIC would insure customers against the failure of Voyager itself. So, yeah, basically, FDIC would be insuring cash deposits in case like a bank failed, and so Voyager was allegedly making some sort of false claims on that. So in case you've been living under a rock, Voyager is like a Coinbase competitor type thing, a big old cryptocurrency exchange that went bankrupt, right? And they has a lot to do with, defaulting on, loans and stuff like that. And so basically a lot of customers don't have access to their funds and won't for a little while if they get all of it back. And a lot of them trusted Voyager because they thought that their funds were insured, meaning that even if Voyager went bankrupt, that they'd still be okay. But guess what? That's not the case, is it now? Unfortunate. Yeah, I would not trust my money on any centralized exchange ever. Exchanges are for exchanging, right? You put money in, you get your crypto, and you get it out. Vice versa. You dump it on exchange, get your money out, your fiat out. Hey, there you go. You don't keep balances on there unless you want to lose them. It's just the way things go. I mean, Voyager was a pretty big contender too. You wouldn't have expected them to kind of go belly up, but it is what it is. Be careful who you trust. Speaking of crashes, by the way, I did see this thing too, where Solana base stablecoin NIRV drops 85%, following a $3.5 million exploit. A $3.5 million flash loan attack basically happened, and there was a hack, and a bunch of the reserves that were backing the stablecoin got drained, and so now the stablecoin itself is insolvent, went down 85%. Gee, where have we seen this before? Although it's very similar, I guess, to the whole like Luna situation, in that it's a stablecoin that just depegged heavily and people lost a bunch of money. It's not quite like that in that Luna's kind of thing was like an algorithmic failure, more or less, that Luna was, the UST stablecoin was backed by Luna, meaning that you could burn UST mint to Luna and vice versa, and that would kind of like stabilize the price, and it became way too UST heavy and became like a flash crash mechanism. And they had some Bitcoin reserves, but they just used those to like buy a bunch of UST to like pump the coin briefly and then, go away. Whereas it appears that the NIRV stablecoin was actually backed by assets in a smart contract, which was exploited, and boom, lost, and now the stablecoin crashed. I wonder when people are going to stop kind of trusting these stablecoins. In my opinion, stablecoins are just fake money anyway, and so the only stablecoin you should trust is something that's backed one for one by the original asset, meaning if it's like Tether or USDC or BUSD or whatever it is, if there are the equivalent amount of dollars in a bank account somewhere and it's provable and audited, looking at you, Tether, audited that it's there, that's backing the thing, you can kind of trust, as long as it's directly redeemable one for the asset, you can trust that. On a lesser extent, any stablecoin that is redeemable, directly redeemable, trustlessly redeemable, especially for an asset that has outside value. Like, let's just say you had a Bitcoin-based stablecoin. It was like pegged to the US dollar, but had a bunch of Bitcoin reserves. And anytime you wanted to redeem it, you could get $1 worth of Bitcoin directly without trusting someone, like via smart contract or whatever, for your $1 of stablecoin. And then if ever the price of Bitcoin crashed low enough to where the whole thing was insolvent, it would just auto liquidate, like auto refund everyone the Bitcoin value of their thing. Something like that you can kind of trust, but I'd still be wary about that stuff. The problem with stablecoins is they play with the value. They say this should be worth this much. And we know in the free market that doesn't work. You can't tell people what they're supposed to value things. They will tend to if it's redeemable for something, but as soon as they start having uncertainty about it, then that depegs, and then it can cause like a flash crash kind of event. So yeah, be careful. Another thing on this Solana, my buddy and former colleague Mark tweeted something out about this, and I kind of feel bad because it sort of ratioed him a little bit, because basically, let me just get to the story, right? Solana Spaces store to bring 100,000 people to Solana per month, says the CEO. The new shop entertained about 400 crypto-curious guests on opening day and hopes to host even more as other stores open across the US and the rest of the world. So basically, there's a physical store in New York City, a Solana store. It's like a physical location. You can sell like Solana branded sneakers and like a bunch of other stuff, and just to like get people, and wow, look, we have a physical store. And props for trying it, but I think it's kind of like the entire reason to have a decentralized, funny there, huh? The entire reason to have a decentralized cryptocurrency is so you don't have this kind of thing, right? You don't have a company holding stores. And like, what is the store going to sell? Solana? Like, you can already buy it on any kind of online exchange. Like, why do you go there? Oh, they got merch too. It's like physical retail locations are expensive. And as like a showcase for a decentralized blockchain, it's a little bit of a strange choice. And so I honestly think there's a little bit of a waste. I think that it will pump the coin, get people to be like, whoa, what is this? And then investors see the store and like, it's going places, buy. They get dumped on, and then it just doesn't end up well. But anyway, so I replied to the tweet that Mark put out, and something about like, well, if you can't have a decentralized blockchain that like stays online, at least you can sell sneakers. And that got a lot more engagement and likes than the original tweet. Yeah. I cannot, don't want to make things hard for the guy, but I cannot resist a chance to dunk on Solana anytime I can. It just seems to be, it seems to be kind of like the new, remember when people are dumping on XRP or Ripple the whole time? People are like, it's centralized garbage, all this stuff, it's not a real crypto. All true, but it was like the darling of pro-decentralization people to like just dump on. And I think that people kind of have forgotten, like now Ripple is more the lawsuit with the SEC coin, even though Library is arguably just as important, if not more important case. But now it's Solana is like the centralized shitcoin that people all dunk on these days. And based on what I've heard about it, and based on what I've seen with like performance issues and other things like that, it deserves every little bit of reaming that it gets. So I won't resist that opportunity. All right, and so finally here, we have the Cardano Vasil hard fork hit with another delay for several weeks. It was originally scheduled, well, not originally, to go live in June, but the teams behind the Cardano blockchain development have prioritized a smooth network transition. So allegedly, let me just verify the actual date it was supposed to go live. So the roadmap initially said May of this year. The hard fork would be at the next big upgrade. But then it got pushed to the end of June. We were today, I guess, right? But then they found a whole bunch of serious bugs, and then they had to postpone it. And, cue all the other, they never deliver, it's all vaporware, all that kind of stuff. I'm not too knowledgeable or familiar with Cardano in depth. I don't know exactly how, accurate and fair those kinds of judgments are. But I will just take the opportunity to say, remember how long Ethereum was delayed? Ethereum 2.0, the whole merge and stuff? And the merge is just proof of stake. It's taken years and years and years. And then the rest of 2.0 is sharding and all the other stuff is like years out still. And of course, the personal sore spot is Dash Evolution, or Dash Platform is more commonly known these days. That was like, oh, well, what if we release it mid 2018 and then just, ended up being branded Neverlution. Probably a little harsh, but still, the shoe fits. They probably will be released this year or early next year, and is also taken for freaking ever. Everything good takes a lot longer to build than you think, especially when you're doing something revolutionary. Not saying that's what Cardano's doing, but bugs happen, things take forever. It just, I would say, be very pessimistic with dates, but more importantly, just don't cling to dates. It's like, finish when it's finished, ship it as fast as you can, as long as it's reliable, and there you go. All right, so that kind of wraps up the little news rundown. Not as much. It's been kind of a little bit of a slow week. I mean, stuff's never too slow in crypto. There's been a bunch of stuff I've been personally working on, but it's not necessarily newsworthy, at least not yet. But yeah, things are all rolling along well for hopefully debut a live show next week. One of these, I will announce it ahead of time. I will get everyone on board and, interacting and all that kind of stuff. Have super chats, all the other good stuff. Hopefully the week after that, I bring back guests once everything's been stabilized, everything's working. And yeah, we're going to be back in business. Got a lot of stuff ready for the channel relaunch stuff. We're working on some cool stuff, but always tons of work ahead. Again, no release dates promised. I learned from Ethereum, Cardano, Dash, all the others. Okay. So anyway, thanks for joining me on this Friday. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and I guess I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.